Hello, 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 and welcome to lesson 3 of the Fortnite series of lessons that I'm recording for you guys under these strange situations where I'm teaching you from my dining room and you're all learning online. I hope everybody's well and you've had a lovely Easter holiday and you're back into the learning now. This is, like I say, this is lesson 3. If you need any of the links or anything that I've put previously on Show My Homework, please email me, guys. It's important that you keep up to date with this work so that we can keep moving through the course. We don't really have time to do much revision, so I'm just giving you new content now. So if you're missing out on anything, if there's any days that you've missed or any sessions that you've missed, can you please make sure that you email me and say, sir, I need this, I need this, I need this, just so that we can stay on top of things. Okay, so what I would like you to be doing is going through the PDFs that I'm showing you in this video. They are attached to the Show My Homework assignments so that you can see everything that I'm showing you in this video, and you can go back and forth through all of the different documents that I'm going through with you. I'd like you, as you're watching these videos, to be watching and making notes. So write, just like you would in a lesson, write down the key things, go through the task, pause the videos, go onto the PDFs and just and access the learning in that way. It's not enough just to be watching the videos and going, oh great, there's Sir, has he got a lovely voice? I mean, I do have a lovely voice, but it's very important that you guys have are being active in your learning. This video isn't just for you to watch, it's for you to take part in a lesson. Okay, so first things first, we are going to be looking at audiences today, and as you can see on this screen, we've got some information here which says an active audience engages and interprets and responds to a media text in different ways, and it's capable of challenging the ideas encoded in it. That is an active audience. A passive audience is more likely to accept the messages encoded in the media text without challenge and are therefore more likely to be directly affected by the messages. These are two key concepts for media studies, especially when we're looking at audience. Okay, active audiences engage with media texts. Passive audiences simply let media texts wash over them and are a little bit more susceptible to being influenced by media text. Hopefully, as you guys are going on through year 10 of media studies, you are in yourselves, in your own media consumption, becoming more active audiences because you're starting to question, you're starting to think about the media in a different way. And we're going to be looking at active and passive audiences today. And audience is a key idea that we're going to be looking at today as we go through Fortnite. Okay, so the task I would like you to attempt now is this. Is Fortnite, the video game, aimed at active or passive audiences or both? Now here it says discuss in pairs. You don't need to discuss in pairs. I would just like you to make a few notes on whether you think Fortnite is aimed at active or passive audiences and a little bit of an information about why. Okay, maybe bullet point reasons for your response with evidence about what you know about the game so far. Okay. And once you've done that, I would like you to have a think about, maybe you don't have to write anything about this now, but I want you to think about how does Epic Games attract this particular audience. Okay, so get that done. You can pause the video now and just write a few notes and then we will move on. Okay, hopefully you're ready to move on now. I would say that Fortnite is aimed at active audiences. Okay, it is an interactive game, isn't it? You play the game. You are a part of the game. You engage and you respond in different ways to everybody else. Okay, so an active Fortnite is aimed at an active audience. It could be argued that there are some aspects of Fortnite which makes a player passive but very often gamers are involved in the game. They play the game. They make lots of choices about how the game goes. Okay, so our title for today, and I'd like you to make sure that you've got this written down as a title. Don't worry about that date. It says Monday the 20th of April. That was when I put this lesson together. Is Uses and Gratifications Theory. So our title is Uses and Gratifications Theory. Now make sure that you write that down. This is a key theory of media studies, and it's not just one that we're going to be looking at when we're looking at Fortnite, but throughout all of the media text we're going to be looking at uses and gratifications, uses and grats, as I will be referring to it as we go through the lesson and through the course. Okay, so uses and gratifications theory, and you can see we need to know this because it's one of the key ideas around audience, and we've already mentioned passive and active audiences. Okay, so what is uses and gratifications theory? Well, before we go into that, we now need to think about this information. Who plays Fortnite? Okay, so I would like you to think about, who do you think plays Fortnite? What demographics of people play Fortnite? Are they older people or younger people? Are they male or female? Are they highly educated or less well educated? Do they have particular jobs, do you think? All of that kind of stuff. Formulate in your brain a key demographic of who plays Fortnite. Now here's some information for you. Okay, this is a snapshot. This was taken in 2019, so it's about a year ago. And we've got, first of all, we've got age group distribution. And it says that of the adult players of Fortnite, now this is key, these people, this study was done of adults who play Fortnite. 18 to 24-year-olds take up 62.7% of Fortnite users. Okay, and then that drops significantly down to 22.5%. And then you can see it's a massive drop off down to 12.7% and then 2% in as the age ranges go on. So significantly, almost 2/3 of adult players are between the ages of 18 and 24. Okay. 28% of total gamers in the US, and this is in the US in 2018, were under 18. Okay, and 72.4% of players in the US are male. So young men is clearly what is being said here. The question is, does that surprise you? Do any of these statistics surprise you? That we've got a large section of the population is young players and a large population is male, young men. Okay, so we can see that. So just have a think about if any of those statistics surprise you in any way. Now that we've started to think about the audience, we need to think about this theory. Okay, and the theory that we're looking at was developed by two people called Blumler and Katz. Okay, and it was way back in the 1950s that they came up with this theory. Uses and gratifications theory can be used for all text whenever you're discussing audiences. How do audiences use the text? Okay, I'm going to read what's up on this screen right now, but I'm also going to give you a little bit more information. So just have a little bit of a listen, maybe write down some key ideas as we go through this. Uses and gratifications theory is a popular approach to understanding mass communication. The theory places more focus on the consumer or the audience instead of the actual message itself by asking, what do people do with media, rather than what media does to people. Okay, so it sees the audience in an active role. Okay, it assumes that members of the audiences are not passive but take an active role in interpreting and integrating media in their own lives. The theory also holds that audiences are responsible for choosing media to meet their needs. The approach suggests that people use the media to fulfill specific gratifications. This theory would then imply that the media compete against each other, other information sources for viewers' gratification. So the key points here are that audiences are active, and we choose the media that we consume for our own needs and our own gratifications. We get certain things out of our media use. And it sees us as active. That's key. It sees us as active in the process. The use and gratifications theory follows a very basic model. It is an audience-centered approach. When an audience actively seeks out media, they are typically seeking it out in order to gratify a need. For example, in social situations, people may feel more confident and knowledgeable when they have specific facts and stories from media to add to the conversation. By seeking out media, a person fulfills the need to be informed. So, for example, I socialise with adults of my age, and my adults of my age talk about the news. When I'm in the English staff room, we talk about politics, we talk about the news, we talk about what's going on. I wouldn't be able to take part in that social interaction if I didn't watch the news on a regular basis, or if I didn't access the news online, or if I didn't read a newspaper. So I get the news, I watch the TV news, I watch the news online, and I watch the news. I read newspapers so that I can socially interact with my peers, with the people that I work with my family, and with my friends. Okay, I don't want people to think that I'm stupid. I want to be informed about what people are talking about. Okay, that is the use that I get from watching the news, and I'm gratified by my news consuming by being able to socially interact with my peers. Okay, social situations and psychological characteristics motivate the need for media, which motivates certain expectations of that media. This expectation leads one to be exposed to media that would seemingly fit expectations, leading to an ultimate gratification. Okay, that's a little bit complex, but I'm going to break it down a little bit more for you in the next slide. Okay, so we've got uses and gratifications theory, and basically what Blomler and Katz in 1974 said was this, that a user has 4 very simple needs. Diversion, the need to relax and escape. So that's when we are being entertained. That's when we are watching TV just to relax, to not think about things very much, to enjoy a story that we're watching on TV, to enjoy a film, that kind of thing. We use the media to divert our attention, and that helps us relax and escape. Personal relationships, using the media to fulfill their personal relationships with friends, to become a part of a social group. And this is what I was talking about earlier when I was talking about what I watch the news so that I can interact with my friends and with my colleagues about the news. It helps me form personal relationships with friends and family. Okay. We then have personal identity, using the media to find out more about yourselves. Okay, so let's say, for example, I am a rugby player. I enjoy watching and playing rugby. I identify as that as part of my personality. So I read things about rugby. I watch TV about rugby. It forms part of my personal identity. Okay, and then we have surveillance, using the media to find out what is going on around us. So right now, many of you, I would imagine, are watching the news about coronavirus, for example, because you're concerned, you're worried, you want to keep yourself informed about what is going on in terms of the lockdown, in terms of how many people are getting sick, that kind of thing. So we use the media to find out about the world and how we fit into it. Okay, so that's the 4 very basic needs that uses and gratifications theory has. The first thing I would like you to do is write this down. This box that says the user has 4 simple needs, get that information written down. It's very, very important that you do that, because not just for your understanding of Fortnite, but also your understanding of other media text that we're going to be looking at throughout the course. Do that now. You can pause the video while you're doing it. Okay, hopefully now you have uses and gratifications theory written down, and you've got these 4 simple needs written down also. I would now like you to take part in this task here. I want you to think about the last media text you consumed. It might be a magazine, it might be a website or an app, it could be a film that you've watched, it might be a TV show that you've watched, it might be the radio, you might have read a newspaper, whatever it is, write it down. 1 media text that you've consumed recently, okay? Doesn't necessarily have to be the very last one you consumed, but one that you consumed recently. Okay, I would like you to now think about and write down what needs are being fulfilled by the audience member in using this media text. So which of these 4 simple needs is being fulfilled by you watching or reading or accessing that particular media text? Okay. If you're stuck on this, there is, you can click down to the next 2 slides, which give a little bit of information about each of these simple needs to help you kind of work out what you're going to write. Okay. And I would like you, just as I've done when I went through these simple needs, think about examples you can give of these needs being fulfilled. Okay. And then, and this is a challenge task, so not all of you are going to do this, but some of you will be able to do this. Will different audiences have different needs? So think about other people. Are they using the same media text in the same way? Okay, so that's a bit of a challenging question, but it's one that will help you. So you can pause the video now and just go through that task. Write down any thoughts and ideas that you've got, and we will then move on. Okay, we're going to move on now. So, as I've said, the uses and gratifications theory breaks us down into diversion. Sometimes that's called escapism, personal relationships, personal identity, and surveillance. So, personal identity. Okay, this is the first one that we're going to be looking at. Finding yourself reflected in text, learning behavior and values from text, understanding yourself more through media text, finding media texts that agree with your views, your ideologies, your values. So the way that you look at the world, your political stance, whether you're left wing or right wing, you might choose different media texts that way. Finding models of behavior, finding ways to behave or act, identifying with someone in the media, their views, looks, lifestyle, etc. That's personal identity. Then you've got personal relationships. Okay, using the media for emotional interaction, gaining insight into circumstances of others, social empathy. So we learn about relationships by watching films and TV shows. We learn about what other people are like by interacting with the media. We identify with others, gaining a sense of belonging, a sense of group. We find a reason or topic of conversation and social interaction. We have a substitute for real life companionship sometimes. And certainly right now, because we're all under lockdown, we're using the media to actually build our personal relationships. You might be doing video calls with your friends. You might be doing video calls with your grandparents or your aunts or your uncles, your other family members that you've not seen and you won't see in person. And so the media is helping us build those personal relationships. And social media in particular is serving that need really well at the moment, because that need is clearly quite important. The next one is entertainment or diversion. Okay, sometimes we might call this escapism. And we do this, we go into the media because we're bored, because we want to be entertained, because we need to be diverted. We don't want to think about the world. Okay, it's relaxing. And then we have information or surveillance, finding out about relevant events and conditions in immediate surrounding society and the world, seeking advice on practical matters or opinion and decision choices, satisfying curiosity and general interest, learning, self-education, gaining a sense of security through knowledge. Okay, these are the 4 strands of uses and gratifications theory. Okay, so what we are going to do now is we are going to watch a trailer for Fortnite Chapter 2 Season 1 Battle Pass. Okay, we're going to watch this trailer, and what I would like you to do is if you look at this slide here, we've got the 4 different aspects of the use and gratifications theory. I would like you to split your page into 4 sections, looking like that, and in the middle I just want you to write apply U and G theory to Fortnite. Okay, so you're going to break your page into 4 sections, and you're going to look at this trailer, and this the link to this trailer is in the Show My Homework assignment, so you can click on that link and watch the trailer. And I would like you to make a note of how this game is meeting the needs for personal identity, how it's meeting the needs for personal relationships, how it's meeting the needs for information and surveillance, and how it's meeting the needs for entertainment and diversion. All of this, there is actually a copy of this slide on the PDF, so you can see that. You can print it off if you want, if you don't want to draw the diagram. But anyway, hey ho, let's go and watch this video. Bear with me just 1 second. I'm going to load the video up. Okay, there we go. And then we'll go. Ooh, hang on. Probably going to be an advert now. Oh no, there's not. Hang on. Okay, so this is the trailer for Fortnite Season 2, Chapter 2, Season 1, Battle Pass. Have a look at how the game is presenting itself and make some notes on the 4 aspects of use and gratifications theory. Be able to see. Think about how and why gamers use this game. Okay, so you can watch that again. You don't have to. You can watch that again by just clicking the link on the Show My Homework assignment. There's a YouTube link to that. Okay, so what I would like you to do is make some notes looking at that trailer on how these Fortnite gamers are getting their personal identity needs met, their personal relationships needs met, their information or surveillance needs met, or their entertainment or diversion needs met. Okay, if you're struggling, have a look back at these notes that I have given. That might help you, but this is very much independent work. Have a think about how the gamers might be meeting these particular needs. Okay, you can pause the video now to do that, and once you're ready to move on, we will move on. Okay, hopefully you have now made notes on personal identity, personal relationships, information and surveillance, and entertainment and diversion. Okay, so the last part of this lesson is this. This is a independent practice exam style question. Okay, using what I've just gone through with you and all of the information that I've just given you, I would like you to explain how Fortnite appeals to its audiences. Refer to use and gratifications theory in your response. How does Fortnite appeal to its audiences. Okay, so the 4 things that I'm going to be looking at, I'm going to be looking for you to be writing is about discussing the audience in relation to Fortnite. Okay, you can talk about the demographics that you might expect a Fortnite gamer to have. Also, from previous lessons, I think it was lesson 2, Bartle's taxonomy of gamers. You might bring that into your answer. You could demonstrate an understanding of why people play Fortnite, okay? And in doing that, you should reference uses and gratifications theory explicitly. Use those 4 strands, guys. Make sure that you're thinking about 4 different needs that are met, okay? And remember that we're looking at using media language throughout, so using those keywords, okay? So if you can't remember what Bartle's taxonomy is, this is a bit of a refresher here. We've got killers, achievers, socialites, and explorers. I would like you to spend 15 minutes answering in paragraphs this question. Okay, so you can pause the video now, you can go back over what we've done over this lesson and the last lesson and try and answer this question in an essay format, in paragraphs. Make a point, refer to uses and gratifications, refer to the game itself, that kind of thing. Okay? You can pause the video now, and then once you've answered this, we will move on. Okay, so now we are just going to end up on the last of our slides for today. Okay, what I would like you to do is have a look at this. This is the marking criteria, okay, and I would like you to just have a look at each of these bands, 4, 3, 2, 1, and they're broken up into marks. So it's a 12 mark question. So 10 to 12 marks is band 4, 7 to 9 marks is band 3, 4 to 6 marks is band 2, 1 to 3 marks is band 1. Have a look at the descriptions in each of the band, and I would like you to give yourself a mark on the 12 mark answer that you've just given. Okay, try and be honest, be as straightforward as possible, and think, well, what could I have done to improve my response? What could I have done to improve my response? And write that down there. Okay, so that's the end of that lesson. We've gone through uses and gratifications theory. We've looked at the 4 strands of uses and gratifications theory. We've talked about passive and active audiences. So hopefully that vocabulary, those keywords that we talked about as we went through, well, I talked about, sorry, as I went through the lesson, will start to become part of the way that you talk about not just this media text Fortnite, but also any other media text that we look at. Okay, I hope you are all well, I hope that you're all staying safe, and I hope that you are keeping up with your media studies learning. It's going to be very, very important for all of you when we come back to school, whenever that might be, to have completed this learning. Okay, so I hope everyone's okay, and that you're doing well. Okay, I will see you next time for lesson 4 of our Fortnite series.